Hello and welcome once again to another episode of MusesRISE. This is episode 15, and the 15th day I've been doing SSSVEDA, or Vlog Every Day in August. I'm finally reaching a point in these episodes where I am feeling a lot more comfortable with exactly how I'm saying things, so I hope it's getting a little bit easier for you to watch as well. For this period of my life, I am going to split it up into the more personal level, as well as then tomorrow's episode will be more the professional level of Muses. After working at Office Max and having met both Nick and Chris, as I mentioned in last episode, Nick actually referred me over to a position that essentially was a dream position for me, working with Disney Cruise Line to help them open their brand new ship, the Disney Dream. Pretty. So it was something that really was a big point in my life, and I really enjoyed the time that I did have as far as the experience and having the opportunity to work with so many amazing people. I can tell you right now there are a ton of people that I met during this time, seeing as they had 1,500 crew on board as well as 4,000 guests for each cruise. There really were a ton of people that I had ran into and kind of had interactions with. And it was a big point in my life as far as a professional level, as well as a personal journey. It was very, very difficult for me to be separated from my wife for such long periods of time. I was on the ship for 4 months at a time. Being away from her for so long and not having easy contact with her was very difficult. So it was very difficult, very unique time in my life, and it definitely was a roller coaster of emotions. I went through a lot of different things, including depression, so there were definitely a lot of people that did have an impact on me. I'm going to try and make it somewhat brief on all of them, but at the same time I don't want to completely cut it off, so I may kind of feature more of them in some individual posts or in the descriptions for this video. To start it off, I had a more professional connection to these two people, but they definitely helped connect with me on a personal level. I definitely looked up to them as professionals as well as a personal level. And they were Ray Smale, who was my cruise director for a good period of time, and Lesley Dallas, who was the assistant cruise director and then eventually moved up to cruise director as well. They both were just wonderful people and both very vibrant and energetic and great for their positions. I just always looked up to them for how outgoing and comfortable they were, and they really helped me to feel more comfortable on the ship, as well as in my position. And the relationship that I had with them definitely helped me to feel more confident in the position that I was in, as well as feel more comfortable living on the ship and working on the ship. I'm sure they know that they impacted my life in some way, but I really don't think that they know just how much I appreciate everything they did for me. I know that they were probably just doing what they do, but it definitely meant a lot to me, and I really appreciated what they did. The next person I'm going to mention is a muse for me that kind of, as I'm thinking about it more, is a personal muse as well as a professional muse for me. He was actually one of our cabaret performers on the ship. He wasn't a permanent cast member on the ship, he just kind of came on for a few cruises to do some performances, but his name's Jeff Civillico. He is a phenomenal guy, has so much energy and so much happiness about him, and really just exudes that positive energy. I believe he still has a show out in Vegas. If you're ever out there, I definitely recommend you look him up, and he is absolutely hilarious for both an adult crowd as well as a family crowd. As I've kind of followed him through social media, I see how much he really enjoys what he does and tries to give back to the community and really puts a lot of effort into what he's doing off the stage as well as on the stage. So that's really where the professional level comes from, but he also was such a great guy. He actually is from Philadelphia, so somewhat near where I am, and so I kind of connected with him and would chat with him whenever he was on. He just was a great guy all around. On the ship, when you have 1,500 crew members, there are so many people that I probably never even saw. Some people that I would only see maybe once or twice in my 4 months that I'm on the ship, and then there's a lot of people that I saw a lot more often. Because my position was within the entertainment department on the ship, I ended up seeing a lot more of that kind of group, as well as dining, youth activities, and a few other departments around the ship a little bit more prominently. The main stage and characters were a very prominent group on the ship, and I did have the pleasure of working with some of them on a crew event that I helped to organize one time for each of my contracts that I worked with them. I really had a lot of fun with it, and definitely enjoyed seeing what we could put together and what kind of a show we could put on that really entertained the crew. There were a few people in specific that I actually got to work together a little bit closer with. One of them was Doug Neville, as I had mentioned in an earlier episode. For this last person, I'm going to get a little bit more deep with it. As I said earlier, I didn't always feel the best, and I wasn't always the happiest crew member on board. I really had a tough time quite often, especially within my first contract, because I was working 70 plus hours a week, and I was perfectly fine with that. I really enjoyed what I was doing, but it was extremely stressful, and it didn't really leave me a lot of time to really get to know a lot of people. The bulk of these people that I have been talking about, it was through my work relationship with them that I got to know them on a personal level. There were quite a few times that I felt very alone on board and didn't really feel like I had anybody on board that I could go to. But luckily, I did have some people that I could fall back on, and I did meet a few people that really made an impact on me in this way. And one of them was Doug, who, for my second contract especially, we really got close, and he kind of was my closest friend and go-to guy. And another of my muses that helped me during these times is somebody who ultimately I didn't really know all that well, but I do appreciate everything that she had done for me. The little bit that she might have done, it really had a big lasting impression on me, and really made my first contract a bit easier and ending on a bit more positive note. This person, Morgan Harris, she was part of the character team, and I really started interacting with her as I was having trouble, and always enjoyed seeing the guests' faces as they were interacting with the characters on board. And so I would go up in the afternoons and hang out around the lobby as they were having meet and greets and things like that, or dance parties, or whatever was going on. I would kind of chat with her as well as the character manager and anybody else nearby, but just kind of got a little bit of friendship going through that. And on the last night of my first contract, as they often did on the last night of a cruise, there's plenty of people that were leaving for the end of their contract or going to another ship or whatever it may have been. And for this one night, I had mentioned that I was leaving to a few people, and went to the crew bar and hung out for a little bit, saw some people, talked with people a little bit, but definitely felt like there wasn't really a big connection that I had with anyone, and so felt a little out of place. But as I was sitting there talking with another gentleman by the name of John Massey, he was a great guy as well, I had Morgan come up to me, and she chatted with me for just a few minutes, but she actually came out of her way to come and just say hi and see me off, kind of. And it just meant a lot to me that I had one person out of 1,500 people, out of all these people that I may have met through this time, who actually came and went out of their way to say goodbye. It wasn't a huge thing overall, but it had a lasting impact on me. Unfortunately, haven't been in contact with her for a couple years now, but just want her to know that she definitely had a lasting impact on my life, and just want her to know that just that little interaction that she had with me definitely had a lasting impression and made a big difference on making me a little less depressed and feel a little less alone. And so it definitely helped me out, and that's the kind of thing that this project is hopefully going to help people understand, is just being yourself and interacting with people in a positive way can really change their life and really change a situation for them. I'm going to wrap this up. I know it was a little bit longer episode today. I will be back again tomorrow with a few more people that have impacted me from my time on the Disney Dream. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel, as well as connect with me through Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and also feel free to email me, connect.musesrise@yahoo.com, and I will see you again tomorrow. Thanks.